Welcome to the Joy of Cruising podcast with your host, award-winning author Paul C. Thornton, a weekly conversation with the amazing cruisers featured in the Joy of Cruising books, comprised of The Joy of Cruising, Cruising Interrupted, new release, The Joy of Cruising Again, as well as other fun, informative global cruise personalities. It's the next best thing to cruising, hearing about cruising from the unique and diverse perspectives of Paul's amazing guests. If you hear about a cruise that interests you, book it at www.thejoyofacation.com or enter to win a free cruise for two. Again, www.thejoyofacation.com. We really appreciate your feedback, so leave us a text. Paul can't reply, but he may read your text on the air.
Hello, passionate cruisers. This is Paul. This week, I am delighted to welcome Matt Hochberg, creator of the Royal Caribbean blog, indisputably the leading unofficial source for all things Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. To say he dominates his space is an understatement. The Royal Caribbean blog YouTube channel is the second most popular cruise channel in the world, with 378,000 subscribers. His blog is one of the most visited in the world, and the Royal Caribbean Blog podcast is a consensus top 3 in the world. All the more amazing when you consider Royal Caribbean Blog exclusively covers a single cruise line. How popular and influential is Matt's brand? Search Royal Caribbean, and one of the top results, the first result after Royal Caribbean Cruise Line, will be Matt's blog. He has become almost synonymous with the cruise line. There is no one better equipped to provide his thoughts of Royal Caribbean's brand new flagship, Star of the Seas. Welcome back, Matt, to the Joy of Cruising podcast.
Paul, pleasure to be back here. Thanks for having me again.
Always good to see you, to talk to you. I know it's been a busy and exciting time for you. And I know that you're busy over at Royal Caribbean Blog. I'm starting to see a fair amount of celebrity content as well, right?
Yeah.
It's something you're branching off into.
Yeah, we've done a little bit of celebrity. I tried Silversea for the first time. So yeah, we're trying to cover all aspects of everything Royal Caribbean and Royal Caribbean Group for that matter.
But in my mind, you will always be synonymous with Royal Caribbean Cruise Line.
Of course.
So it's been, I'm sure, an exciting time for you. A new world's largest ship has been introduced, courtesy of Royal Caribbean. Star of the Seas. When were you on, Matt?
I was on Star of the Seas for 3 specific sailings, 2 of which were back-to-back back in August. Royal Caribbean invited me to come on board when the ship was actually in Puerto Rico, when she just completed her transatlantic crossing, to do a quick, super quick preview. And then I got back on board for 2 of the showcase sailings, which were pre-inaugurals, if you will, that Royal snuck in there to offer some opportunities to have some short cruises before the official first sailing on August 31st. So spent about 10 nights on board.
Well, we've had a couple of guests who have been on. And, we asked them a little bit about Star of the Seas among their other recent cruises. But in your case, we only want to hear all the details about Star of the Seas. So you've got the mic.
Star is, what was really surprising in a way is that how similar it is to Icon. It's not a bad thing because, Icon was such a big deal when it came out. Still is in the sense that I think it really is the standard that any mainstream mass market cruise line is trying to achieve in terms of, guest satisfaction, good experiences, fun things to do on board. And so Star really matched up with that very, very closely. I mean, you really had to dig into the details to find differences between the 2 ships. And at first I was like I said, surprised a little bit. I was like, oh, okay. But thinking about it more, I was like, well, obviously, I mean, this is what worked. Why mess with the formula, right? And I think as Royal, like they did with the Oasis class, as they build newer ships down the line and they learn some lessons, or more likely they discover new things they just want to add on to these ships, we'll see some more variations from the original. But if you loved Icon, I think you're going to find Star to be equally as good because it's very similar to it. And if you haven't been on Icon yet, I think you're going to find Star of the Seas to be an incredible cruise ship because of the things I just talked about. It really is that. I think the Icon class really is that standard bearer right now in terms of what I think every cruise line wants to have from start to finish.
Hmm. Well, first, let's start with I suspect a fair amount of our listeners have been on Icon, except me. Uh, uh, so let's start by, for those who've been on Icon, contrast. You said there's a lot of similarities. What's different? Contrast Icon with Star of the Seas.
Yeah, there's not, like I said, there's not much. It really boils down to three key areas. First of all, is the entertainment. And this is true of every Royal Caribbean ship. The shows um are not the same. In terms of no matter what ship you're on. So you have new shows on board. Chief among them, Back to the Future, the musical, is by far the number one thing. But even the shows in the Aqua Theater and in Absolute Zero, which is the ice skating rink, those are all new shows as well. So entertainment's a big one. Number two is dining. The both ships have a supper club, but the one on Star is a Chicago themed one. So Chicago music of the 1930s and 40s, homages to the various restaurants and lounges of that era as well. Also, Aquadome Market, the food hall, has three news stations, which I actually think, Paul, are probably better than the ones on Icon, if I'm being honest with you. I like those changes a lot. There's a new Thai place, a barbecue place, and a Latin American spot. And I really think I was blown away by the food. Really, really impressed by it. And then, of course, the last area, and again, this is true of every Royal Caribbean ship, is the artwork on board. You'll note that different artists, different pieces, different takes on it are there. Beyond that, honestly, you're really going to start nitpicking between this is moved here. There's one extra hot tub near the Aquadome Market. It's really not that big of a difference beyond those core three, I would say.
Now, those three new food spots that you mentioned, those are, I trust those are casual dining that's included.
Yep. Yeah, it's exactly. They're included in your cruise fare. They are grab and go. There's no dress code by any means. And the best part about it actually is that it's open really late. Like it's open till like midnight, which I think is fantastic. I don't know about you, but why like, late night cruise ship pizza. I would prefer something different from time to time, and it's nice having that variety. So it's wonderful that it's open that late.
Wow, an included Thai place. Say something about that. Did you try it?
Oh, heck yeah, of course I did. There's a choice of two different proteins. There's pad thai, and then you have a chicken or beef, and I really liked it, Paul. I was also a little surprised in a pleasant way, in a good way. It was spicy. Like usually cruise food is not that spicy because it tries to cater to, I think, to a wider audience. And
Sure, sure.
I was really surprised how spicy it was. I was like, wow, this is fantastic. So yeah, really good flavor. If you've never had Thai food before, trust me when I tell you, it's a very um entry level type of Thai food. Nothing too crazy here. It's noodles, it's chicken in a wonderful brown sauce. I think you'll like it quite a bit.
I've had a lot of guests who have been on Icon of the Seas, and
Mhm.
several have called the Wizard of Oz, which is on Icon,
Mhm.
as the best show that they had seen at sea until, but now I've had a few people who have seen Back to the Future,
Yeah.
including one person who didn't really care for the movies. And she was just out of her mind about Back to the Future. So, so from your perspective, break the tie. What's better?
Oh, I mean, I'm going with Back to the Future, but I'm going to admit, Paul, I am biased because obviously, from a film standpoint, I'd much rather watch Back to the Future than Wizard of Oz. Granted, one film I grew up with, one film was, you know, 50 years old when I was born. A little different, I think, from a cultural standpoint. But I think truly, when you're talking about Back to the Future the musical, the production value alone is off the wall amazing. I mean, the one in Wizard of Oz is really good. I would almost want this to be like a slide on Wizard of Oz. It's just like it's like a one in one A situation where truly the difference between the two is just while they are substantially, it's stark, it's noticeable. Neither of which are bad by any means, but yeah, I think I gotta go with most of the audience. It sounds like, Paul, and tell you that Back to the Future is probably my favorite.
Hmm. By the way, while we're on the topic, somewhat on the topic of Wizard of Oz, I'm going to Vegas next week because
Mm,
I've been to Vegas a zillion times, but I really want to see the Sphere,
yeah.
and they have a Wizard of Oz presentation at the Sphere.
Oh,
So
cool.
I don't know what that's going to be like. I'm expecting it to be fantastic because I'm told the Sphere is the single best venue for a performance in the world. So we'll see.
Oh, I would do the same thing if I were you, Wizard of Oz or not. I mean, just to be able to say that you've been to the Sphere, I think is worthwhile. It's got so much hype around it probably, we'll bring it back around full circle, Paul. I'd imagine it's the hype around the Sphere to me remind me a lot of the hype that Icon of the Seas had when it launched in terms of just like the entire world taking notice.
Okay, so now we've contrasted the two. Let's talk about for people like me
Mhm.
who have not been on Icon and who have not been on Star Seas, although I am booked or I am scheduled fall of 26 for Star
Okay.
Seas. Let's talk about Star Seas for those of us who've been on neither of the Icon class ships. Start with, I don't know, boarding. I mean, what was it like?
It's incredibly efficient. Royal Caribbean really, I mean, I think their boarding process across their fleet is just bar none the best out there. But with even the ship, you think, oh my goodness, 7,000 passengers potentially on board. The boarding process is so easy. I mean, the key is obviously going to be the Royal Caribbean app. Have it downloaded. I think you already know this, but have all the steps done similar to like you would with an airline, where you do the online check-in beforehand, and you really never stop moving. You get into the terminal, you do the security, they scan your CPass and in your app rather, and then you just keep moving. Like if you do all these steps, it really is so seamless, and they get you on board. They say from curb to bar in like 5 minutes. I mean, it really is that fast, and you'll be going to Port Canaveral really easy. And this is true of Icon in Miami as well. It's I wish I could do it justice to explain to you, but I think you're gonna get on board and be like, wow, that was incredibly fast. I think I think as Royal Caribbean fans, we take it for granted how good it is because some of my staff go on other lines, and when they run into the, let's say, less efficient boarding processes that exist there, it puts it into perspective like, dang, okay, that's I didn't realize how good we had it on Royal, if that makes sense.
So what's the first thing? Maybe not for you,
Hmm.
but for us Star Seas newbies, what's the first thing we should go to?
Well, if you're like, actually, if you are like me, Paul, you'll go eat first. That's the obvious choice to start with. I always go to, you have really the two primary choices, I think. There are more than this, but you could go to the Windjammer Buffet or you go to Aquadome Market. And I would probably go to Aquadome Market, honestly. I mean, the Windjammer's not going anywhere. Neither is Aquadome by any means. But I'm going to assume you've been to a Windjammer on some other Royal Caribbean ship, whereas you've not been in the Aquadome. So I would prioritize that. I'm always a proponent of if something's unique to a ship, focus on that and then save the commonalities for other ships. Like, again, the example is the Windjammer. Like, if you don't go to the Windjammer and Icon, you'll go on and on another ship, right?
Right,
And so I
right.
feel like you want to go there first. Then you want to go finish your muster drill. You don't want to be that. You don't want to be that guy who's holding up. These are the announcements. Please just go to your muster drill station and complete that process. That's all through the app. You just have to simply check in. That's easy. That's two. Three.
Now, Matt, let me back you up.
Mhm.
Acadome Market, talk about that.
We'll be right back.
Do you have a dream car? Mine is the Lucid Air. Are you intrigued by electric vehicles? The Lucid Air EV has been called the best driving car in the world. And the Lucid Air Sapphire is certifiably the fastest production car in the world. Listen to Lucid Driver Podcast wherever you listen to podcasts or at luciddriver.buzzsprout.com.
Yeah, that's the food hall station we talked about with the Thai food, and it's up on deck 15 in the front of the ship, near the Aquadome. So pretty easy to get there. When you board the ship, you'll be on the promenade. So just walk to the forward elevator bank. Not the end of the world. You went to the aft. You just walk across the pool deck, but it'll bring you right up there. And when you get out of the elevator bank, it'll be right there off the elevator lobby.
So you said food hall. So you talked about the three additions
Oh yeah.
relative to Icon.
Hmm.
Talk about the food hall concept in general, because that's new to me. The last I've been on several Oasis class.
Hmm.
So food hall started with Icon.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, absolutely. There are food stations. So basically, imagine literally a hallway, and there's different halls there. You stop at each one. There's a separate line for each one. You just tell them what you want. There's, as I mentioned earlier, there's no cost. So you simply walk up, grab the food you'd like, and then if you're like me, Paul, I'll order one. Like I'll go to the Thai place, grab my Thai food, bring it back to table, and then I'll go back up and get something else, like as make two different trips. Some people do the trip in one, like they'll stop at the Thai place, then they'll go like to the feta Mediterranean place and get that and bring both back. But I don't know, for whatever reason, I prefer a more single threaded. I do one at a time, but it's up to you, and there's no limit. You can go up there as much as you'd like, and it's pretty easy. That's the only difference I think between, I believe it's Norwegian. You can actually order through an app, but here in the Aquadome market on Royal, it doesn't work that way. You just simply go up, and in my experience, the line really isn't bad at all. If there's like two people ahead of you, that's probably two more than I'm expecting.
So what's it, about 8 to 10 stations?
Five total.
Oh,
There's a
five.
crepe,
Okay.
yep, crepe station. There's a Thai place. There's a barbecue place. There's the Mediterranean spot, and then there's a Latin American food hall as well. So that's the five. Mhm.
Okay. And drink package work in there?
Absolutely. Drink package works everywhere on the ship, including there at the end of the food hall, past the Latin American spot. There is a drink station, if you want to call it that, where you can get the drinks that would be included with the drink package.
Okay. Okay. So I interrupted that. So then
No worries.
then comes the muster drill.
Yep. Um, and then if you hadn't booked entertainment yet, I would say that you should do this before your cruise begins. You're going in the fall of next year, so you got plenty of time. But like right around this time next year, a little earlier, maybe August, you want to look in the Royal Caribbean app or in the Cruise Planner website and book your shows, because you want to see Back to the Future, you want to go to the comedy club, you really want to see all the shows on board. So if there was a chance you didn't have something booked, your next stop should be on the Royal Promenade, and there's usually the box office being held in the karaoke bar. On the promenade, you can go there and make like last minute reservations. Again, my advice is try to get it before the cruise, but if you didn't have that, I would do that. And then beyond that, I mean, really, when it comes to a big ship like Star, you really want to walk around, explore, just starting. And it's so easy, Paul, because when you're on the promenade now, so you're on deck five, and the promenade has two decks, deck five and six. You've got Surfside, the kids area, on one end. You've got Central Park on the other end, and it's really easy to move between decks four and eight, really, between stairs and escalators. You'll be kind of, I think, pleasantly surprised how easy it is to move around those decks without using an elevator, which is saying something on a cruise ship, because usually people are like, "Oh, I use the elevator," but they really made the flow so much better on the ship.
Do they have all of the I call them old standards now? What's the robotic bar and all that?
Oh, yeah, the Bionic Bar. No, they got rid of that.
Really?
Bionic Bar. Yeah, the Bionic Bar was like a thing. Like I think Royal looked at it as like in 2014 when they debuted on Quantum of the Seas. It was cool for 2014, but there's no robot bartenders on board. There are, however, two different kinds of robots on board Star. One of which are actually vacuum cleaners. When you walk around certain public areas, I've seen them in Central Park. I've seen them in the Aquadome Overlook area. These are autonomous robots, kind of similar to what you've probably seen in like Costco or maybe in your supermarket, where they just meander around. And one is called Bob. Bob handles the hard surfaces, like hard floors and whatnot. And then Betsy covers the carpeting, the soft surfaces. So keep an eye out for those robots. But more interesting are within the Aquadome show, there are robot arms there that are part of the show, and they're really impressive use of technology.
Talk about the Aquadome show. I've often said on this podcast that that all the cruise lines have great things,
Yep.
but Royal owns aqua shows. I mean,
Yeah.
no one comes close, and it's great how they offer slightly different aqua shows on the various uh, Odyssey, not Odyssey, Oasis class
Yep.
ships, and now the what's the Icon class ships. What was the Aqua show like on Star?
So Torque is the name of the show on board, and if you've never seen
Torque?
yeah, like as in like the torque of an engine. What's really cool about this, Paul, is like, I mean, and you know this, but if you haven't seen them, it's a high energy show. There's a lot of acrobatics, there's a lot of diving, and like I know, like if you're listening to this, you're like, oh God, it's a diving show, Matt. Like, trust me when I tell you, it is so much better than you could ever possibly imagine. And Paul, you were absolutely right. And these are must-see shows. They're so good because you have music, you have these amazing, talented folks that are, diving and dancing and slacklining and then on top of all that, you have the visual element, lights, these robots I'm talking about, the different props they're using. I call it props. I don't know if that's a technical term, but the things they use, they implement in the show to make it interesting. It's an incredible spectacle. And I think it's one of those shows where literally you don't realize it, but your mouth is open the entire time because you're like, what? It's just like that wow moments that constantly are filled throughout the performance.
So, were there any notable? I'm sure everyone is notable, but headliners? Were there any headliners on that impressed?
Well, by far the comedy show is the way it always impresses me. Over in the attic, this was the name of the comedy club over there. Simeon Hercules is my favorite. I'll always look for him. Royal Caribbean usually puts him on any new ship that comes out there. Tyrone Hawkins was there. And there was another comic as well, and they did such a great job. I love live comedy. I don't know about you, Paul, but I think it's so much fun, especially when they're riffing with the audience. It's included in your cruise fare, and every show is different, and that's what I love about it.
How about ice shows? That's another thing that Royal kind of owns. Are there any ships with ice skating other than Royal?
That's a good question. Did MSC rip off that idea yet, or are they not up to that point yet? Oh, wait, did I say that? Oops, sorry.
It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, no, as far as I'm aware, it's only Royal, but it's again just like the Aqua show. When you see the ice show, even like first of all, I'm always like, okay, ice skating, ugh. But when you sit down there and you see the incredible acrobatics, the music, and I love that they're always like bringing in new music as well, like more contemporary music. It's an amazing show. I love the flips. I love the different thing. I don't know what it's called. There's this move, and I'm sure you've seen it, where there's a couple of skaters, and the person is like standing up. The other person grabs the skater by usually her ankles and swings her like in a elliptical fashion with her head barely grazing the ice. It's like every time her head comes around for the ice, it's like, oh my God, here we go. And then whoo, she makes it. And it's incredible. But yeah, it's a really fun show. I love the music on there. It's just a great, I think it's high energy. That's the thing that really makes these shows good, both the Aqua show and the ice show, is that there is so much energy to it that it keeps it from feeling like, okay, we've seen them go around this like 3 times already. You know what I mean? Like it makes it brings a certain je ne sais quoi to it.
Now, all of the Star itineraries will include, I guess I should ask this as a question, will all the Star itineraries include Perfect Day?
Yes, that is at least as of through early 2027. Yes, the answer.
Differentiate between the Star and the Icon itinerary. I think you said Icon was out of Miami, and Star was out of Port Canaveral.
That's it. That's the only difference. They both do the same 7-night itineraries, Eastern, Western, same ports. So really, and this is maybe I'm going to head you off at the pass here, Paul, with your next question. Why should you pick one over the other? And really, the differences, I did a whole article about this, and it really is like, if it's easier for you to fly to Miami or Orlando, you know what I mean? Like maybe you live near an American hub, and so getting to Miami is going to be cheaper for you. Then maybe Icon to Miami is better. But Orlando is fairly agnostic in terms of the different airlines that go there. So, I mean, really, the itinerary is going to be exactly the same. So it really boils down to probably the airport, and which is going to be easier for you to get to.
You did an article over at the Royal Caribbean blog?
Yep. Why you should pick Icon versus Star, and why you would pick one over the other. Actually, to give full credit, Jenna, one of our writers, wrote that article, and we were kind of going over it as a team. And we're like, yeah, it's not many differences, but that is one of them as to the home port, because that can make a big difference in your vacation budget.
Well, I will, listeners, I will link to that article in the show notes. And, as I said in the intro, there's no better authority on Royal Caribbean cruising than Matt. And so I know that article will be chock full of key information.
Thank you, Paul.
Or important information for those of us who have not done either. But like I said, I still do want to go on Icon, even though I'm set to go on Star of the Seas. One last question, because I was really excited about this for some reason. When people talked about Icon, well, not for some reason, because I am a glutton for milkshakes. They mentioned like a milkshake bar.
Yeah. There is a milkshake bar called Deserted. Get it? Like as in dessert.
Yeah,
yep.
yeah. So that carried over to the
Yep,
Star.
absolutely. Same place, same menu as far as I can tell. Yeah, and there are like basic milkshakes, and then there's like crazy over the top milkshakes. There's crazy over the top milkshakes with alcohol in them. So you kind of customize it the way you'd like.
Great. Well, Matt, I'm not going to hold you. I promise. I promise you that I just wanted to give the listeners your perspective of Star of the Seas. There's a whole lot of perspectives that they'll hear over the next several months from various guests, but it's nothing like hearing about a Royal Caribbean ship from Matt Hochberg.
I appreciate it.
What are you going? I'm sure you'll be back on Star of the Seas sometime in the not too distant future. What's your next cruise?
Yes, sir. Actually, my next cruise is on Utopia of the Seas for the Royal Caribbean's President's Cruise, but I'll be on Star of the Seas over Thanksgiving because my family hasn't been there yet, so I want to experience it with them.
Okay, so that sounds wonderful. What does the future hold for the Icon class? What's next?
Well, we've got Legend of the Seas next summer. We've got Icon 4, doesn't have a name yet, for 2027. And Royal Caribbean has options for 2 more, which options meaning like if they exercise those options, then they basically can place an order and not lose their place in line, so to speak, in terms of the construction of it. So 4, potentially 6 Icon class ships. And Paul, I mean, call me crazy, I would be absolutely shocked if they didn't exercise the options on 5 and 6, because I feel like they're just doing so well that it would make so much business sense for them to pull the trigger on that.
Well, listeners, Matt is one of those guys who has an open invitation to the Joy of Cruising podcast. So I'm pretty sure we'll have him back about this time next year to talk about Legend.
I love it. Thank you, Paul. Really appreciate all the kind words, and you do a great job.
All right, Matt, you take care. And as I like to say, we'll see you on the ocean.
The Joy of Cruising and Cruising Interrupted, each $16.99 plus shipping, and new release, The Joy of Cruising Again for $18.99, can be ordered at the link on thejoyofcruisingpodcast.com. For each of the 3 books, use the discount code Joy of Cruising Podcast and get $4 off. The Joy of Cruising books are also available at Amazon. Order the ebook at Amazon or your favorite online retailer. Stay in touch by joining the Joy of Cruising Podcast Facebook group or following the Joy of Cruising Podcast on Instagram. We're constantly adding new shows. Please leave a review and tell a friend about us. We hope you enjoyed this brief escape to the ocean. See you next week.